We need to talk about what's happening with Graham Platner because even though it's all the way in Maine, this is a really important moment for every progressive. For those not familiar, a couple of his ex-girlfriends are citing what most are describing as concerning behavior. No essay or abuse claims, but they talk about his behavior towards them when he was drunk. Fairly aggressive behavior like grabbing Lindsey Fifield, the first accuser, by the shoulders and wrists too hard. And this all happened back in 2013, 13 years ago. Not good behavior, of course, but compared to what half of Congress is doing now, not in the past, it doesn't seem like this would be a campaign issue. So let's talk about Lindsey Fifield for a second and see if there's any possible reason that she could be coming out with this now, 13 years later, right before an election. I'm going to give you one name and you'll see where I'm going with this, the Heritage Foundation. Lindsey Fifield was the social media manager for the Heritage Foundation from 2015 to 2022. She also worked for American Action Network, another conservative advocacy organization. And she was the director of digital marketing for Nikki Haley for president. Susan Collins, who Graham is running against, of course, happens to have endorsed Nikki Haley during her last run. So she couldn't possibly have some other reason to bring this up now, right? AIPAC and the Republican allies are going to throw everything they have at Graham. But he has been very clear about this race from the beginning. He's never claimed to have been a good guy. This is a redemption story and a story of what politicians like Susan Collins did to millennial and Gen X soldiers after 9/11, sending thousands to their death for no reason, and leaving even more like Graham struggling with their mental health, addiction, you name it. There's a reason that a fifth of the people that are homeless are veterans. But AIPAC doesn't want you to focus on this, or G-side, or human rights in general, which is ironic because that's supposed to be part of the reason they exist. They want you looking at 10-year-old text messages when there's a felon and sex offender in the White House. Graham has said his past is really rough, but it's what made him who he is today. And the DC elite don't think this, but people are more intuitive than we give them credit for, Trump being in the White House aside. Generally, if you're paying close attention, you can see people's heart, and if they're being honest. We don't see it much in DC, and so when we do see it, we recognize it. Now, of course, if it's determined that Graham committed a crime against these women, I'll no longer support him. But are you going to hold other politicians to the same account that they're holding him to now? We need Graham in the Senate, just like we need Abdul El-Sayed. We don't have a lot of real change figures running there, so these guys are really important. When AIPAC stops Israel from killing everyone, then we can talk about text messages.